All right, welcome back to the Windsor Time channel, and we are really excited about this one today. Little watch came our way that we've been looking for some time, and we're gonna jump into that in just a little bit. But first, per usual, Noah, what are you wearing?
Today I am wearing my Omega Speedmaster. When I walked outside this morning to take the dog out to the bathroom, it was 57 degrees, which for all watch nerds means one thing. It's officially a leather watch strap season again.
There you go.
So it came off of the bracelet and went on this really beautiful dark brown chocolate leather strap.
Speedy
and
Tuesday still a thing?
Oh, it is Tuesday. I didn't even think about that.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it
You
is
did it
Speedy
naturally.
Tuesday. It is on there. So yeah, just a really fun piece. This is the current iteration of the Sapphire Sandwich.
Nice.
A watch I didn't think you really needed. I always thought the Heslite would be the one that I was going to go for, but then
The movement's
looked
so
at the back.
beautiful on that. It's like,
It
why
is.
wouldn't you show off the movement? You know,
Yeah.
it's killer.
Anyway, really, really fun. Just beautiful piece. I was just in DC and I saw one that went to the moon too. I forget
Sweet.
I'll put it up on the screen. You guys will know what it is. I forget.
Admittedly, cannot keep
exact
track
thing.
of the Speedmaster reference numbers.
Well, they're like this long,
They're a billion
so, I mean,
numbers
yeah.
long. Yeah, super long.
But it went to the moon. It was cool.
Cool.
So,
All right.
Anyway, what do you have on?
So I am wearing a watch I don't wear very often, but this is a vintage Air King. This is reference 5500 to 5500 with the kind of broad arrow or arrowhead index markers and 369 dial.
Very cool.
With this really sort of creamy, just beautiful dial to it. Admittedly, first time I ever saw this watch was on Mr. Ryan Gosling, and I was
Yeah.
like, I've got to find that watch.
Yeah.
And I think he has this one. He has one that has more of like a honeycomb dial as well. But I specifically just thought this one is so cool. It's a smaller watch, and we're talking about a small watch today, by the way. But small watch, I think it's 34.5 or 35 millimeters. Wears really well. Has just a lot of nice little details that harken back to just the good old days.
Yeah.
But also still, present in today's
So much.
Rolex.
And I mean, Ryan is just so dreamy. And I mean, the watch is just so dreamy. Pre LVMH Tag Heuer ambassadorship.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But whatever.
I don't know how on brand it is.
It's not.
Yeah.
He would
I shouldn't say
wear
that, but-
very cool, vintage pieces like that in films. What was the Lady Gaga Hollywood one? Not Once Time in Hollywood. La La Land.
La La Land, yeah,
He
yeah.
was seen wearing an Omega Constellation all throughout that film. Was really, really cool. But now he wears other stuff, which is cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the uniqueness of that, I think, really speaks to how cool he is.
Yeah.
And
Enough about Ryan
yeah.
Gosling.
Well, it can never be enough about Ryan
Nice
Gosling.
guy.
But
Anyway,
anyway,
he's actually here today.
that would be
gonna jump
so
in.
much fun. Anyway,
No, but anyway, I mean, a beautiful watch, but it was fun to finally track one of these down some
Yeah.
years ago. I think 2020 or 2021. So it hasn't been that long, but
yeah.
a couple years.
And you got some fresh ink to go with it.
Fresh ink. My daughter gave me some nice little
yeah,
tattoos. Thank you
budding
for
artist.
noticing.
Yeah.
A bat and a star.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah, feeling pretty edgy today.
Oh, awesome.
So-
what are we looking at?
We are looking at a really cool watch. This is the Patek Philippe 3969R, so 3969 in rose gold. This is from 1989, and the significance of 1989 is actually written right on the back of the watch, but that was the 150th anniversary of the brand.
Wow.
And Philippe Stern, father of current brand president or owner Terry Stern, this is really his heyday. He was rocking and rolling in the 80s and 90s of Patek Philippe, and this watch to me is just quintessentially that. There was an arc of there was a collection of watches that came out for the 150th anniversary, just like there was in, I think it was 2014 for the 175th anniversary. There was a selection of watches specific to that anniversary, and I think these 150th anniversary watches are just some of the most beautiful, classic Pateks, out there.
Absolutely.
I really find this one unique because they have only done a few jump hour watches
Yeah.
in the history of the brand. And in fact, they did another one for that 175th anniversary in 2014. But this one is just a small little watch. I think
Yeah.
it's 28 millimeters across, and I forget the length.
Sure.
But very less is more. There's just a big jump hour window for the hour, and then 1 minute hand, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
It's manually wound, beautiful watch. It's a fun shape. It's a little bit elongated. Once again, something that is kind of missing in today's Patek Philippe collection.
Yeah. Could be coming back soon.
Yeah, we have to say we are right on the cusp
wink,
of
wink.
the supposed new family of Patek Philippe being launched in the coming weeks. So possibly by the time we edit and get this up, we might have a new collection of Patek. So
We'll put it on the screen if it
we're
is.
hopeful. Yeah, we're hopeful that it's something with some fun new case shapes because really there haven't been these kind of
Yeah.
tortue or tonneau shaped pieces in the collection in the most recent years,
Sure.
other than Golden Ellipse, which has its own shape, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, the most fun thing about doing these videos for me and diving into vintage Patek is I had no idea this was a thing. I mean, there's such a deep history and catalog with them that getting to see stuff like this, I think, is really, really cool and special. And I think you're right. There's no case shape like this right now that's really in there being mass produced, and you're seeing such a resurgence of just a thirst for novelty in the watch industry and the watch space. And this is something, looking back, if there was a modern iteration of this, call it, I don't know, not twice the size, but a little bit bigger, I think it would just, break the internet. Or at least our internet.
Yeah.
Our small one.
The jump hour that came out for the 175th anniversary was quite a bit larger. It was platinum, and it had, I believe, hand engraving all over. So it was almost a rare handcraft art piece. It was beautiful.
Right.
The same idea with the jump hour. But I'm glad you said that about, something we don't even know about, because that's what's amazing about Patek is you really are, when you're looking back on the brand, you're almost discovering more looking backwards than you are looking at the current collection or looking forward. So that's what makes them so special. There's just an endless literal rabbit hole to go down looking at vintage Patek. I also think this watch represents something that's still true with Patek today, and that is they make quirky, fun watches. They don't make something just because there's a boardroom sitting there saying this is going to be a great selling model. They are making something that is fun, it's unique and different.
What
is
this? Not to put you on the spot. What's on the side there?
I think there's one that says 18 karat, and I forget what the other one is, but those are hallmarks. So often in earlier models, probably pre-2000s, I would say, don't hold me to that, they would put the hallmark on the side of the case or the side of the lug, as opposed to just the case back or the back of the lug. And you don't see that as much now.
No.
But
it's just so cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Very,
so this watch
cool.
also came in platinum, which is the more rare version of the watch. Same dial color and everything, but there's a rose gold version, a platinum version. Quite a few other watches came out at the same time for the anniversary. There's one, I'm forgetting the reference right now, but a beautiful, just classically done minute repeater that year as well.
Yeah.
And
really cool.
Before we know it, we're going to be at the 200th anniversary of Patek Philippe, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out for that. The legend has it that they're always working a decade or two in advance of said anniversary pieces, and I can imagine something comes out for that's pretty special as well.
Well, and that's the nice thing about the hobby. I feel like since 2018, 2020, every year it's almost like people have this expectation to have their minds blown over every single collection.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about the hobby and the industry is there's such a rich past that you can pull from. There's really a never-ending supply of unique and interesting novelties that are out there that you can pull from, just like this. So really incredible vintage piece.
Yeah, and it's cool. If you think about, it seems like sometimes a piece will, the look and feel of something will go away for a few decades, and suddenly it'll come back in some modern iteration where it was influenced by some past piece from 50 or 60 years ago. And I could see that being the case with this.
Absolutely.
In the coming years. We're seeing pieces now, influenced by watches from the 40s, 50s, 60s that are in the current collection. So we'll see what plays out with jump hours, but it seems like they keep them for those kind of special moments, but sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to that.
Yeah. Easy to tell the time too, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's all there is.
There you go.
Probably my favorite thing about this watch, other than the fact that it's just unique as a jump hour, is literally the font in the hour window.
Yeah.
And I admittedly don't know what the font is. It kind of leans into a Breguet style font, but it is just so...
Yeah.
We'll get some close-up of it, but it's just so unique and fun.
Almost Art Deco-esque.
Yeah, it's very deco-y. Like the 9 is just wild.
Yeah.
It's such a small little watch with so much character packed into it.
Huge amount. Yeah.
And that's just quintessentially Patek. And it's another watch. I mean, we talked about this, I think, when we were talking about 5212A weekly calendar before. It's another watch that until you're up close and personal with it, you're not really getting to know it. You don't really, it doesn't scream at anyone from across the room. But when you're getting hands-on with it, it's one of the most unique watches out there. And it just takes that personal bit of time to play with it,
Very cool. Well, another really interesting piece that I think is, it's just cool to see and cool to know about. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to like and subscribe.
See you next time.
See you next time.